My name is John Lynch. I know many of you from wonderful evenings in past Norman Knowlton and Center for Excellence dinners, but I serve as the president of Barnes-Jewish Hospital, and I want to welcome all our award winners and all their sponsors and all the folks that wrote wonderful letters and advocated for your candidacy for this award. And you're going to get to meet a number of other folks that have been involved with this award over many years, if not generations, and those from the very beginning throughout this evening. But again, I want to extend a special welcome to all of you and thank our virtual host, John Cella and his family, and Dr. Norm Knowlton Jr. for carrying on the legacy of this evening. You all may have heard that we were chatting a little bit as we got started this evening about some of the wonderful dinners and truffles and other venues over the years where we got to celebrate your amazing contributions at relatively early stages in your career. So the Incentive for Excellence Award was set up a number of years ago by John's father, and it honored a very special relationship with his physician, Norm Knowlton Sr., who passed away a couple of years ago. And in 1990, I was lucky enough, and in a moment of weakness, the committee selected me to be an awardee. And really, since that time, it's been a special annual celebration that recognizes your amazing contributions to the Incentive for Excellence and compassionate care that you all provide to your patients. And so we're here to celebrate you tonight and thank you for your amazing contributions already. We wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for a committee that spends a lot of time thinking about who is deserving. And so for the 11 of you that won the awards, please know that Dr. Andrew Cates, who's a relatively new member of the committee, but a longtime participant in the Incentive for Excellence dinner, and also a fellow award winner, has been with us for a number of years. Andy's now on the committee, and as you all know, he's a cardiologist, a professor of cardiology here at WashU, and he also won the award. He was probably 10 years old in 1997. Dr. Katie Henderson is here tonight, and she serves as the Vice President and Chief Medical Officer for Barnes-Jewish Hospital. Katie also trained here as a wonderful clinician and a role model for many of you. And I know that you all have interacted, some of you have interacted with her in the medicine clinic. She's an important member of our team and a member of this committee. And then we have John Cella. John is the son of the founder of the award. So John and his family have carried on the tradition that was started a number of years ago. And then Norm Knowlton is here. Dr. Norm Knowlton, if he had been here in St. Louis for his career in medicine, there's no doubt that he would have been recognized for the spirit of caring and excellence that his father was known for. And I will tell you that at the beginning of my career, Norm, your father was still practicing, and I think I've told you this before, that I would see him late in the evenings, rounding on his patients. He never didn't have time to stop and coordinate care with us. I frequently walked in and saw him sitting down, a best practice now in medicine that he knew of many years ago, where he would be sitting down and sometimes holding the patient's hand and having a genuine and compassionate conversation. And so I remember the spirit, and it is alive and well in all of you today. We also wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the content experts, and those are the folks that actually know you very well. And so the committee really relies heavily on the opinion of those that nominate you, the letters that come along, but also by some very, very important leaders in our healthcare community here, including Dr. Vicki Frazier. And I know that she passionately advocates for all of you, and is really so proud of all of you, and is a key driver for the decision making that we make as a committee. We've also got Dr. Dominique Costco, and Dr. Costco runs the residency program, and she knows you all very well, and is also an important voice in giving us the kind of guidance we need to select the very best. And then finally, Susan L., who actually runs the foundation for us on a daily basis. She's really the steward of the resources and of the process. And so, Susan, to you and to all your team, Dawn and others that are on the call, who year after year put so many wonderful nights together like this, usually in person, and we know we'll get back there. But in the background, for all of you, know that Susan and her team are tirelessly working to make sure that the resources that are gifted to the foundation are used appropriately. And certainly this is one of those examples. So again, John, thank you. And thanks to your team at Truffles and your family for the hospitality and for the gift. And if at this point, we'll take the first toast of the prisoner for all of you that choose to participate. Thank you, John, again, and thank you, Norm Jr., for your legacy and for the work you all do to keep the spirit alive. Hear, hear.
Thank you. Hear, hear.
Okay, John, at this time, would you like to make a few comments?
Yeah, I'll make them very brief, but on behalf of the membership committee and certainly my family, we congratulate all of you. We're very proud of this and what we do, and it all started back in 1984. Dad had this thought that he was kind of a healthcare crisis himself, lost a kidney at a young age. He's had his knees replaced. He had, I mean, you name it, he's had issues. And all the while by his side was his good friend, Dr. Norman Knowlton Jr. And I guess when you're have as many ailments as Dad, you better like your physician. And the thing that was great was Dr. Knowlton had wonderful bedside manner. He was brilliant. He had it all. It was everything that you wanted to have in a physician. And Dad thought back in '84 that he would start this funding of a process to award like people like, if you will, Dr. Knowlton and all that they represent. From bedside manner to brains to everything else. And as a hidden bonus, he was hoping to bribe each and every one of the recipients to try to stay in St. Louis with a small token of his appreciation. And that's how it all got started. I feel badly that for the last couple of years, we haven't been able to really celebrate with a nice dinner, which you all are very deserving of. I will also tell you that very ironically, Dad died 4 years ago today. And I, earlier this afternoon, went out and saw his gravesite and told him about you. And he told me that he was very proud of all 11 of you. So good job. And I think that's really all I have to say. And my next job here is to introduce Dr. Victoria Frazier. Dr. Frazier, you all know, I'm sure, very, very well. She is the chair of the Department of Medicine at Barnes-Jewish Hospital and Washington University School of Medicine. And she's obviously also an integral member of the membership committee. And so what my job is to do is just give you a little bit of background and turn it over to Dr. Frazier. So, Vicki?
I'm going to unmute, but I think you saw a shadow of a dog there. So I got two dogs I'm dog sitting who I gave very large marrow bones to. So I'm hoping that'll keep them quiet through this ceremony. But if not, I apologize in advance. So it's really a pleasure to be here tonight celebrating with you. John Lynch, as an awardee of Knowlton, knows how much this means to residents and fellows and junior faculty who win these awards. And Dr. Knowlton and John Cella really know the history. I was privileged to also know Dr. Knowlton. I was around back in the day when he would round, and he really was a spectacular clinician who everybody loved, and everybody wanted him to be their doctor. And he was really good with the house staff and the fellows. He never made anyone feel like they were less knowledgeable than he was. He always loved to teach and to engage and to role model those really wonderful behaviors of a great clinician. And so, you know, receiving this award from Charlie Cella, who was a man of great personality, character, energy, and friendships. And so Charlie clearly wanted to honor his friend as well as recognize up and coming stars in medicine, people who would be spectacular in their chosen fields. Historically, we focused on subspecialists and created this award for people who were fellows and junior faculty members. And recently we've expanded it to include people staying in general medicine, in the hospitalist program, in primary care, and recognizing residents as well. So all of you are really wonderful doctors, and I'm so proud of you. We have never had 11 awardees before, so this is a big deal, and it's because you're all so spectacular. Usually we have half as many, but I think there are a number of reasons why you all were selected tonight, and we are so proud of you and so happy to celebrate with you. So now I'm going to introduce Dr. Knowlton and Dr. Costco, who are going to talk about the awardees and go on with the celebration. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Vicki, for your help and your continuing help and contribution to this committee. First of all, I need to explain to some of these people that who I am. I'm Norman Knowlton III. I'm the son of Norman Knowlton Jr., for which this award is so honorably named. I'm a general internal medicine physician from Springfield, Missouri, where I practiced for 38 years. I am now retired from internal medicine, but still actively involved in the organizations here in Springfield and statewide. I was chief of medicine at St. John's Mercy in Springfield and practiced an additional 13 years at Cox Regional Health Center. I served in many capacities at the hospital. Not only that, but locally, and as well was the president of the Missouri State Medical Association. So I got a chance to visit a number of the hospitals and physicians around the state. Enough about me, but this award basically is as a result of Charles Cella. Since its inception in 1984, this event has honored over recipients. In fact, as of tonight, 207 physicians have received this award. It's also donated over $4 million to Barnes Jewish Hospital, Washington University School of Medicine, for the best internal medicine department's young physicians who've exemplified what they call the Knowlton spirit. The Knowlton spirit is those physicians that provide the best quality care to their patients at this institution. A brief story about my father. Some of you know it. Some of you have never known him or known anything about him. He was raised in St. Louis in Ferguson, Missouri. He was born in 1922, 99 years ago. At the age of 15, he was accepted to Harvard and graduated with honors at the age of 18. He attended Harvard Medical School, where he graduated in 3 years in medical school. He served in the United States Army in medical school and marched even to classes during that time period. Because he was in the military, they had to march each morning before class. During his tenure at Harvard, He was doing research on the effects of radiation on RNA and DNA. Now, remember, this was in the 1930s. You can see where we are today with RNA and what's going on today, but he was doing that back in 1930s and working with radiation at that time, which is really a very interesting, integral part of the radiation history at that time. He came back and did his internship at Barnes under Dr. Barry Wood, and he had, with his background in radiation, since it was just in its infancy, he was selected to participate in what they called the Manhattan Project in Los Alamos, where they created the atomic bomb. He worked for Dr. Norris Bradbury. Now, Dr. Bradbury was in charge of what was going to happen when this thing went off. They didn't know. My father was one of the scientists that worked at that lab. As you know, Robert Oppenheimer was a physicist, and he was the one that was in charge of what was going to happen and how this thing was going to go off. There was a guy named Lieutenant General Leslie Grove, was the Army general from the Corps of Engineers, and he was in charge of the military secrecy for Los Alamos. It just happens that I was born along with my twin sister at Pond Hospital in Los Alamos, New Mexico, during the Manhattan Project. The Pond Hospital is not because of Pond, and if somebody's a history buff, Pond was actually the name of the superintendent of the boys' school where this started, where the Manhattan Project started. Oppenheimer selected this school, was a secret school in the middle of the mountains in New Mexico, and he picked this place, and Mr. Pond was the superintendent. As a result of that, they named the hospital there, which was a military barracks hospital, the Pond Hospital. And that's where I was born, in that Pond Hospital in Los Alamos. A little history about me as well as my father. After the war, my father returned to Barnes and completed his internal medicine training and served as chief resident under Dr. Carl Moore. Dr. Carl Moore was integral involved in hematology oncology, and my father was very involved in hematology oncology with the research he was doing at that time with radiation, with RNA and DNA. At that time, he developed one of the first private and academic program coalitions, which led to the blue and the red services at Barnes. He taught and practiced medicine until 1994 when he retired. Interesting enough, it's in this time of the year, it's at Christmas time. Every year at that time, back in when he was teaching, he would give the Christmas party for all of the interns and residents, not the fellows at that time, but the interns and residents at our residence. It would be a Christmas party. And I'd love to be able to do that, but the number of residents and interns has ballooned over the last few decades. But every year he would have them all at our house for a Christmas party. And that would be about this time back 40 years ago. Well, in the 1980s, one of his dearest friends and patients, and that was Mr. Charles Cella, wished to honor my father for his dedication of care for his patients and himself. As a result of that, he wanted to name the department chair name the Norman Knowlton Chair Professor of Medicine. My father declined that. At that time, they talked about it and they decided that what they were going to do, since they were interested in patient care, that they would donate the monies that were going to be coming from this fund, and they would give it to the house staff for their excellence in care, thus precipitated this award. From the initial donation, Mr. Cella, my father, along with Bob Frank, who at that time was the president of Barnes, and Dr. Dave Kipnis, who was the chief of medicine at that time, they created this award in 1984. Thus, this being the 37th year of the awards. As John mentioned, Charlie Cella passed away 4 years ago today. I'm sorry about that, John. I will never forget that man. My father died in 2012, he was 90 years of age. He died of an autonomic neuropathy. Charlie died as a consequence of complications from Parkinson's disease, but multiple other problems. But he was a fighter all the way and will be missed by all of us. We've included photographs, and I hope all of the recipients have received the photographs of these great men with your awards so that you might have photographs of these two individuals. But as a result of this, it's my honor as the son of Norman Knowlton Jr. and the chairman of the Knowlton Incentive for Excellence Committee to award this year's recipients, along with Dr. Dominic Costco, which you all know, the residency program director at Washington University School of Medicine and Barnes Jewish Hospital. Dr. Costco, would you please join me in trying to, let's announce our class of 2021.
Thank you, Dr. Knowlton. On behalf of the residents, we would accept invitations to your house for a Christmas party, but I don't think you want 165 of them showing up at your house. So I appreciate the offer. But it's really a pleasure to be with you this evening. On behalf of Dr. Knowlton and the selection committee, we have an outstanding group of physicians to present the Knowlton Award in 2021 to this evening. So I have the pleasure of getting us started with announcing the recipients. And our first recipient was nominated by Dr. Chad Witt, who is the Pulmonary Critical Care Fellowship Director, and the division chief, Dr. Michael Holtzman. So our first award winner is Dr. Stephen Chi. Dr. Witt, I invite you to say a few words.
Sure. Thank you, everybody. So I'm happy to have been the person to nominate Dr. Chi for the Knowlton Award. So Dr. Chi did his undergraduate training at William and Mary, and then came here, I'm sure, thinking for 4 years for medical school, way more than 4 years ago now. So he was here for medical school residency, did a hospitalist year, and he's in his third year of pulmonary and critical care medicine fellowship with us. So Dr. Chi's been an outstanding clinician throughout. A couple of points of note, he was elected as one of the best teaching fellows through internal medicine at the VA as a first-year fellow. And then I think, as involved all of us, but I think nobody more than our fellows, the COVID pandemic changed their training dramatically. So Dr. Chi did, we could count, but I think it would make him sad and me have PTSD how many extra ICU shifts he worked during the COVID pandemic. But it was, it may be pushing triple digits, and kind of always did it, and was always volunteering to be at the front line of that. In addition, during fellowship, he's done some research on the interface of palliative care and ICU care. Some of this has been kind of more traditional clinical research, and then there's been some more advanced machine learning algorithm-based research. And fortunately, we were able to recruit Dr. Chi to stay here. He's going to stay on as faculty with us, and at the same time complete a palliative care fellowship over the first couple of years. So I would like to drop a note to Dr. White and Dr. Dans that maybe Dr. Chi can be the first two-time winner of the Knowlton Award, because he's going to complete another fellowship after he leaves our fellowship. So congratulations, Dr. Chi, well deserved, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so much for the nomination, Dr. Witt. I really appreciate it. 13 years and counting in St. Louis. It'd be great.
Congratulations. Thank you, Chad, for nominating Stephen. Our next awardee is Dr. Zachary Crease. He was nominated by Dr. Simon Wakar, who is the Hematology and Oncology Fellowship Director, as well as leaders from the division, Drs. Elaine Majerus and John DePercio. So Dr. Wakar, we look forward to your comments.
Thank you so much. So it's my pleasure to talk about Dr. Crease today. He completed his medical training from University of Illinois College of Medicine before coming here to WashU for his internal medicine residency training. After completing his residency, he served as a chief resident before joining our fellowship program, where he is again also chief fellow. His research focuses on clinical and translational science within the field of hematologic malignancies. He's written multiple clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, as well as a phase 3 clinical trial, which he led, which successfully demonstrated the effectiveness of targeting the CXCR4 SDF1 signaling pathway to mobilize hematopoietic stem cells for stem cell transplantation. He has received numerous teaching awards. He's an outstanding educator. He received the Carl Flans Teaching Award in 2018 and Teaching Fellow of the Year Award in 2020. In addition to that, he has uniformly excellent evaluations from patients, faculty members, co-workers, co-fellows, and we're very, very fortunate that he has agreed to stay on as faculty member within our division, and we look forward to working with him as a colleague in the future as well.
Thank you, Simon. Congratulations, Zach.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Wakar and Dr. Majerus and Dr. Frazier for nominating me. It's really it's an honor. It's hard to put into words. I'm sure on Zoom you can see me blushing as Dr. Wakar is reading all those things. But it's funny, as I click the button on Zoom and it shows me every single one of your faces on one screen, I think it just makes me feel even more humbled, because as I look across the screen from Dr. Lynch and Dr. Frazier and Dr. Costco and Dr. Wakar on through even the awardees this year, I see so many people who I've had the honor of working with and learning from, including some of my own co-residents coming up through residency here. And so it's an incredible honor. And I just can't say thank you enough. And I really appreciate everything that you guys do to honor and to recognize everyone who works really hard during their training here. So thank you.
Our next nominee is Dr. Ryan Day, who was also nominated by Dr. Simon Wakar, as well as Drs. Elaine Majerus and Dr. DePercio. Dr. Wakar, I invite you to say a few words about Ryan.
Thank you very much, Dr. Costo. So Dr. Ryan Day actually came to WashU in 2007, first for his medical training and his PhD. And after that, we were fortunate that he stayed on as an internal medicine resident and then joined our fellowship program as part of the physician scientist training program. And he's a 4th-year fellow at present. He's, in addition to his lab work under the mentorship of Dr. Tim Lay, which focuses on understanding the early events induced by CBFB-MYH11 gene rearrangement, he's also been working on some clinical projects under the care of Dr. Megan Jacoby and Dr. Walter. The specific project is on monitoring mutation clearance after allogenic stem cell transplant in MDS. He is, beyond these scholarly efforts, an excellent clinician. All of his patients really speak highly of him, as do nursing staff. Everyone talks about his communication skills and how he strongly advocates for his patients and considers all variables while he's making treatment decisions. He really exemplifies all the qualities of the Knowlton spirit, and we're so fortunate that he is here with us today for this award.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wakar and Dr. Majerus and Dr. DePercio. I really appreciate it. I'll kind of echo what Zach said. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of the other co-awardees, and I'm really flattered to be included in this group. So thank you all.
Congratulations, Dr. Day. Our next nominee is Dr. Martin Gregory. Dr. Gregory was nominated by Dr. Prakash Gaiwali, who is the Gastroenterology Fellowship Director, as well as the Division Chief, Dr. Nicholas Davidson. So Dr. Gaiwali, I invite you to say a few words about Dr. Gregory.
Thank you, Dr. Costco, and it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Martin Gregory, whom I've known since he was a baby. No, I'm just kidding. He was born here in St. Louis. He went to Washington University for his undergraduate education, majoring in economics, and then went to University of Missouri in Columbia for his medical school, where he excelled. He was an exemplary student that all kinds of extracurricular activities. And it seemed like he was destined to become an orthopedic surgeon because that's where his research took him initially. And then he met his wife, Lauren, who kind of grabbed him by the ear and brought him to us, to gastroenterology. So he came back to Washington University for his residency, and he was highly recruited to join our fellowship program. He's completed his fellowship with flying colors this past summer and is now an IBD fellow on track to join faculty within the IBD division. He has interest in translational IBD, and he's a finisher. By that, I mean he has 20 plus peer-reviewed manuscripts. He is, when he writes chapters and journal articles, he is ready with his final product well before anyone expects him to be. He's also a excellent human being, a superior human being. To say he bleeds blue is an understatement, because during the Stanley Cup run, he was holding his breath so much that he was actually blue. And during the Blues off season, he also roots for the Cardinals. But now he is his son Connor's biggest fan. Martin, we're absolutely delighted that you're joining us for faculty. You have the Knowlton spirit, and congratulations on winning this award.
Well, thank you so much for the nomination. Just echo what everybody else said. This is a tremendous honor, and at a place like WashU, we have tremendous role models that exhibit the Knowlton spirit. And when I logged onto this Zoom and saw who all was on this, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, these are the people that I've looked up to since I came here intern year. I'm just grateful to be a part of this, and thank you so much for the nomination.
Congratulations, Dr. Gregory. Our next awardee is one of our third-year residents. So I'm very excited to announce Dr. Kai Jones as our next awardee. So Kai was nominated by Dr. Megan Wren, who is one of our associate program directors for the residency program. Of course, I highly supported the nomination, but I invite Dr. Wren to say a few comments about Dr. Jones.
I really am thrilled to present this award to Dr. Kai Jones. Washington University should be so proud of her. To use a phrase I use for myself, she's a lifer here now. She was here for undergraduate. We were able to keep her here for medical school and strongly recruited her to stay here for fellowship, for residency, and now fellowship training. So a wonderful track record. Kai really embodies compassionate patient care that this award is designed to recognize. Her interpersonal skills are truly outstanding. She is so kind to her patients. And beyond the individual patient, she's concerned with the health of the community as a whole. Her research is focused on prevention of cardiovascular disease in African-American patients with diabetes, with low vitamin D, and expansion of diabetes technology in low-income and underserved patient populations. In addition to her formal research, she's also been very involved in mentorship of trainees from underrepresented groups, and is pushing all of us to do better at mentoring and encouraging folks. And we really look forward to her staying on here long term. Oh, and I should also mention, when I was editing a WashU manual chapter, she immediately sprang to mind to work with me on that. And I was blown away by her level of attention to detail and how quickly she turned around the work. Truly superior. So if you want anyone to help you co-write a chapter, she's the person for you. So congratulations, Kai. I'm so glad you're staying here with us.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan, for those comments. Kai, go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to thank Dr. Wren and Dr. Costco for the nomination and support of this award. I am happy to be here with all the other residents and fellows, and definitely have looked up to them in my time in the ICU and on the different consult services. And I'm happy to be here for at least the next 2 years for fellowship training. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Kai. Our next nominee comes from rheumatology, Dr. Albert Liang. Dr. Liang was nominated by Dr. Prabha Ranganathan, the fellowship director, as well as the division chief, Dr. Christine Pham.
Thank you. Thank you, Dominique. So Albert, what can I say about Albert? So Albert's parents actually emigrated to Canada when Albert was 16. So he was from China. He came to Toronto in Canada for high school. And Albert and I have talked many times about this, how intimidating it was for Albert to go to high school in a brand new country and the added disadvantage of not being fluent in English. So it has been a remarkable journey for Albert. And from there, Albert goes on to University of Toronto for undergraduate studies and then to WashU Medical School for medical school. And then obviously he stayed on at Bounds for residency and then came to us as a fellow. So it's been a wonderful journey for Albert all along. And all I can say is since Albert has been a fellow with us, he has done a spectacular job. And there are many instances where I can think of Albert going the extra mile to help us out. Just say a couple of instances here, whenever there's a unexpected person who shows up in clinic, a patient who shows up in clinic, Albert is the first one to volunteer to see the patient, always the smile on his face. And when our new fellow started back in July, Albert volunteered to stay several extra days on the council service to help ease the new fellows in. So he really goes out of his way to help us in any way possible. In terms of research, Albert has taken a lot of interest in looking at the JAK inhibitors in rheumatoid arthritis, looking at cardiovascular risks associated with them. There's a lot of concern about that recently, and Albert has really taken advantage of that to kind of base his research project on that. And then Albert is a wonderful human being and a wonderful son to his parents. So I can tell you when Albert was looking for a job after graduation in the next 6 months, he was careful to look at places where he felt his parents would be at ease, they would have things to do, where they would be really, he was looking out for their well-being, and that really touched me more than anything else. So Albert is actually going to go up to a practice position in Rockford, Illinois, when he graduates in July. And all I can say is congratulations, Albert. You've been a wonderful addition to our program, and all the very best to you from all of us. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Dr. Ranganathan and Dr. Pham, for all the kind words and the nomination. It's really a great honor to be here tonight with so many extraordinary colleagues and mentors. And I just want to thank the award committee for this prestigious award. And also I'd like to thank Dr. Pham, Dr. Atkinson, Dr. Ranganathan, and the rest of the rheumatology department who have been really helpful, have been guiding me and helping me along the way during fellowship. So I feel really honored to join the Knowlton awardee family. And thank you very much, and congratulations to all the other awardees.
Thank you, and
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Our next awardee is Dr. Chrissy Makova, nominated by Dr. Daniel Cooper and Dr. Samath Prabhu.
Great, thank you. I just stepped out of our last case, but I would not miss the opportunity to say a few words regarding Dr. Chrissy Nikova, a fellow who certainly embodies the Knowlton spirit. Dr. Makova did her undergraduate work in chemical engineering at Arizona State University, followed by medical school at University of Washington and internal medicine residency at the University of Michigan. Before we were fortunate enough with Dr. Cates and the team to recruit her to WashU for cardiology fellowship. She is fortunately currently an advanced fellow in clinical cardiac electrophysiology with us, and has become universally recognized as a rising star. She is outstanding from a procedural standpoint with exceptional instincts for arrhythmia care,
And having worked with her for several years now, I can attest to the respect and love that the patients have for her in her clinical interactions. One of the things that stands out about Dr. Makova is that many fellows who are destined for subspecialty fellowship, they tend to jump the gun a little bit during general fellowship and narrow their focus on EP or neglect some of their general cardiology, but not Chrissy. She made sure that she was an outstanding cardiologist before moving on. And her subspecialty attendings like me are very grateful to have her cardiology expertise in our clinics. So we benefit from that. Now, in addition to managing all of the responsibilities of a busy EP fellow, she is maximizing the use of her research time to complete a research fellowship in the Healthcare Innovation Lab under the mentorship of Dr. Tom Maddox, where she's focused on development of patient-level data dashboard embedded in Epic and our EHR to facilitate comprehensive atrial fibrillation care. Fortunately, she aspires to remain in an academic setting, and nothing would give us more pleasure than welcoming such an outstanding, intelligent, skilled, compassionate candidate to our faculty if given the opportunity. We're starting the recruiting process now officially. Hope Dr. Prabhu is okay with that. She, again, you know, I cannot imagine a more deserving trainee than Dr. Makova. She truly personifies all the attributes that this Knowlton Award aims to champion, and we are extremely proud to have played a small role in training her. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Makova on this great honor.
Well, I really want to thank Dr. Cooper and Dr. Prabhu and Dr. Cates for nominating me. As you know, I'm not a lifer, but I don't know what took me this long to come to WashU. And in hearing the description of Dr. Knowlton Jr., I mean, I didn't meet him, but there's many people, physicians here that remind me of that spirit. So I just feel very fortunate to be here and to be in this great company. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Makova. Our eighth nominee is Dr. Devin Odom. Dr. Odom was nominated by Maria Dans and leader Dr. Patrick White.
I get the distinct honor with Maria Dans of saying that Devin is one of the truly most remarkable humans you will meet. As with many palliative care doctors, he's got a very interesting background where he had a full ride for engineering to Duke, but combines it with acting skills. And he took this skill set and became the guru in teaching communication skills for patients with serious illness. And as humbling as Dr. Knowlton, hearing that story, Dr. Knowlton, that you shared today about your father, recognizing those humanistic characteristics in the Cella family, Devin stepped up. He taught over 150 internal medicine residents and oncology fellows communication skills, trained the actors himself, developed the curriculum. And when the pandemic went, he was one of the first people to volunteer to be a triage officer and help out. He then took a leading role in the Targeted Goals of Care initiative to identify patients with serious illness, catch them earlier. And as a hospitalist at Barnes Jewish, went in and helped build them support. He developed the advanced care planning template we use across the entire healthcare system and has been able to make it in a way so that it's both efficient and really catches the core of those conversations. And on top of all of this, he is now training all of the hospitalist physicians and nurse practitioners across BJC in communication skills. He started out at St. Peter's and Progress West hospitals and is going all the way through. And to end on, as he has a rock star future, he also has the cutest daughter in human history. Devin, congratulations, man.
Yeah, congratulations, Devin. And he also has his wife is a rock star emergency department physician as well. I mean, it's a whole family of rock stars.
Thank you, Maria. I just want to thank you, Maria, for nominating me. I've really enjoyed the work I've been able to do here with your support. And Patrick, you know, I think a lot of the work I've been able to do has been hard work, but it's also, I think, in knowing people like you who have trusted in me, believed in me, and tried to help make things happen. So I just want to thank both of you for nominating me for this award. That's my other daughter, who is just as awesome and beautiful as Clara, who you met earlier. I want to thank my division as well, because I'm a hospitalist. I've been a hospitalist for the last 8 years after I finished my training here. They've given me the space and the time to be able to do these projects and help out our system. Mark Williams, I think he's on the call. He just joined our division as our new leader. I also want to thank Mark Tolke and Mike Lynn in our division, who also have believed in me over the last few years as well. And as you mentioned, Maria, my wife is also an emergency medicine physician at Barnes. She's amazing. She should be here getting this award. She probably should have won several of them over the last few years during her extended training. And my 2 girls here who have believed in me and given me some time to do things. I'm sure they've missed their dad sometimes whenever I'm gone and working, but thank you to everybody. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing to push these communication skills in our system further to provide better care. Thank you all.
Congratulations, Dr. Odom. And I know your wife and your daughters are very proud of you. Our next nominee is Dr. Patrick Olsen, nominated by Dr. E.G. George and Dr. Jerome Escada, and their leader, Dr. Bill Powerdly. Sorry, Bill.
That's okay. No, thanks again. It's a great pleasure to support Patrick's nomination. Patrick, I think, probably wanted to be an ID doctor since he was a toddler. He certainly started at undergraduate level, University of Nebraska, and his undergraduate work involved antibiotics. At that time, he did his MD, PhD here at Washington University, working with Dave Hunstead on urinary tract infections, and then joined our physician scientist training program in internal medicine, and has been an absolutely superb clinical fellow with incredible work ethic and interest in the entire story of patients working towards their best interests. And during that time, he really focused on a problem that is emerging as a major issue in public health, and that is where we're seeing an epidemic of staphylococcal infections driven by the opioid crisis. And Patrick is now dedicating his research to better understanding that and to ultimately providing better care for a very vulnerable patient population. I'm tremendously proud of him and look forward to his ongoing success and look forward to him ultimately joining us as a faculty member in the future. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Dr. Powderly and Dr. George. I'd like to echo the previous awardees' sentiments that it's so humbling to be in this company today and to hear the story of Dr. Knowlton. So just want to extend my thanks again to the Infectious Disease Division and the Department of Medicine, and certainly the award committee in the honor of Dr. Knowlton. So thanks again.
Congratulations. You deserve it. And going through all these nominees, they are exceptional. Our next nominee is Mary Scott, again nominated by Dominic Costco and Dr. Ciceliski.
I have the honor of introducing Mary Morgan Scott. She's one of our absolute best. She's currently a third-year resident. She's originally from Tennessee, completed her undergraduate work at Vanderbilt, and then moved up 55, I believe it is, up to St. Louis for medical school and has been here with us as a resident and has really done a remarkable job. I've had the opportunity to work closely with Dr. Scott for the past 2 years in the outpatient setting, and I've been struck by her compassion for patients. She develops incredible rapport with patients and maintains a high degree of professionalism in even the most challenging clinical situation. With Dr. Scott as a patient's primary care physician, I know that each patient is receiving exceptional care. And additionally, she has strong medical knowledge base and develops thorough and complete plans of care for her patients. Her documentation is always of exceptionally high quality. She has an inquisitive personality and humanitarian drive, and her academic work is spot on and is focused on infectious diseases research. During residency, she has worked closely with Dr. Steve Lawrence on a project investigating the incidence of BK virus hemorrhagic cystitis in patients who have undergone stem cell transplantation. I've also had the opportunity to edit a chapter that she co-authored with an ID faculty member on infectious diseases and found it to be one of the best chapters that I've ever edited. It was very complete, extremely well written, and very well researched, and I had to do very little work, which is even better. I think one of the best examples of how she embodies everything about the Knowlton Award happened last Wednesday, which was Fellowship Match Day. And applicants find out about their where they're going at 11 a.m. via email. Dr. Scott comes to staff a patient with me at about 11:30, and I asked her excitedly about the match, and she said she had not yet had the opportunity to look at her phone and look at her email and find out where she was going because she was too busy taking care of the complicated patient in front of her. So we paused for a moment so she could check her email, find out that she matched into infectious diseases and is staying here with us again for fellowship. Before she jumped right back into her care plan that was, of course, excellent and of the highest quality. And again, she just truly embodies everything about the award. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shashelsky and Dr. Costco as well. I am so incredibly honored to have been nominated and to receive this award. I just thank you so much for your support over the years. Again, those experiences in clinic that can somewhat be very challenging, but so rewarding and encouraging, those experiences. And I just have appreciated so much having you there along with me through those. And I'm just so very honored for your nomination and just to be here among all of you. And thank you so much again. And I am just looking so forward to continuing to work with so many of you over the next several years on infectious disease. And thank you so much.
Congratulations, Mary, and we're glad you're staying in St. Louis. Our next nominee, I'm not going to say last, I'm going to 11th, and they're not in any one order, so that people understand this is 11. It's exceptional people. They're not in any order, but our 11th is Abby Sung, and I want to again thank Dr. E.G. George, Dr. Jerome Muscata, and Bill Powerley for their nominations for Dr. Sung.
So I'm truly delighted again to be part of this and to nominate Abby, who really does exemplify what this award is all about. She too, although a California native, she's a WashU lifer. I did her undergraduate experience at WashU. She was a WashU medical student, a resident at Barnes, and is currently a fellow in infectious diseases. And really, she's an absolutely superb clinician. She really cares about her patients. She cares about the patient experience, and she cares about her peers. And that, she cares about not only about what's going on in terms of all the infection issues that we've been dealing with over the last 2 years, but their impact on people. And that I think is critically important. And she's training, her aspiration is to be a hospital epidemiologist in infection prevention. She's working on aspects of SARS, but she's also working on looking at the impact that this epidemic has had on on the health and well-being of all the doctors and patient care providers who've had to go through this epidemic. And I think that exemplifies really what this award is about. People who go above and beyond to care about their patients, their fellow doctors, their fellow practitioners, and are really the future of our profession. So I'm delighted to support Abby's nomination.
Thank you, Dr. George and Dr. Powderly, for nominating me. I feel honored to receive this award. And when I saw the entire list of awardees, I recognized everyone on that list and have worked directly with everyone and was like, these are all awesome people. And in hearing more about like what everyone is doing, I feel even more honored and humbled to receive this award along with all of them. So thank you again, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Sung. I wanted to let you all know that you've entered a group of 207 recipients of the Knowlton Award. Sometime we'll try to maybe get a list of all those physicians that have received this, including Dr. Lynch and Dr. Cates that are here, but get you a list of those people, and you'd be amazed at the people that are on that list and the number of faculty members that are in St. Louis that are practicing in St. Louis that you probably may know or may not know that they were previous Knowlton awardees. But this is an exceptional class, a great group and all deserving, and look forward to future events. And I'm hoping that we can all get together so we can actually meet in person. We're sorry that we couldn't do so, but again, I want to say from our committee, I want to let you know that you're exceptional. We're looking forward to your staying around St. Louis and working here. And John, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Well, thank you, Dr. Knowlton and Dr. Costco, for leading us through this amazing list of award winners. You know, this is a fantastic tradition, and it is typically a night of tradition too, where we get to celebrate. And so you all watch your emails over the coming years, because we typically get together in anniversary years or whatever, and get the whole group, and we hope that we'll be able to celebrate with you. And speaking of traditions, this is usually the time of the night when Andy Cates leans over to me and said, John, we don't have a chance against these guys. You're really remarkable. You can see what a difficult time it is it's not difficult that you're selected, but we have a wonderful group of residents and fellows, and for you all to be selected as the only 11 award winners is really something special. So thanks for all of you that were involved in the process, all of you that did the nominations. Thanks to again to the foundation. John, I did the count. I think we were close to about 90% of the current award winners are staying in St. Louis. So I know that was one of the goals of your father and of his very special relationship with his physician and friend. So again, thank you all. Thanks again, and congratulations to the award winners one last time. Have a good evening.